Okay, we go in once. They take the person out of our party to mess up our formation again. I think I'll be going with the formation I've always been going with. Thank you. Yeah, we are done and as ready as we can get. Alright, you jerk. I've learned my lessons. Now it's time to show you. If they come up with one, I'll fight it. Okay, no twice in a row, no double dipping. Alright, this turn, just give him the suck. If I end up wrong and he actually has Pheromone, I'll be sad. Eclipse, huh? I'm ready for this. Depending on how lucky I am with what actions he takes this turn. Oh. Make sure that wasn't bad. You sure made that last long, didn't you? Don't give me the mega suck. The double mega suck? And that's just ridiculous. He's just full of suck today. I might be getting the final Switch fairly soon. Message? Well, once you're done doing your whole thing. No message. Once that happens this turn, I might be able to push back out and get another Mercy heal. Doing garbage. At least Grandma got her turn off first. Okay, second Mercy. Granted, it's not much of one, but you know. And everybody is good enough that I'm actually gonna do damage with everybody for once. Which means I should potentially push phase for the end this turn. Oh, you stunned him out of it. Okay, that was pretty directly in response to the attack, so I think this is message time. Yep. That means it's do or die time. Free action. Awesome. That, I think, is fine? Yeah, that's only a problem if somebody's down, which nobody is, so good job, jerk. That's game. Good night. Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm glad. That actually turned out super well. Like, generally speaking, I was pretty over-prepared, because like, that's the problem with this game. The blind play is so brutal just for the fact that you don't know how much is going to be required for you to have until you don't have it when you need it. When you know where to go to do things, how to get all the important stuff, and what to use against all the fights, it's easy. And it's like they missed something here. Like, with that first experience. They missed... There's something about intuitive gameplay. Like, this is, if you know, it's fine. If you don't know, you're screwed. And that's not intuitive. A game needs to give you some reasonable level of knowing or otherwise figuring out what you need to have or do. And that's the thing this game misses the most. There are so many things that are absolutely essential to know and have and do to beat the game that they just don't. Do not prepare you for at all. And if they had bridged that gap, then as a blind experience, I think this game could have been so much more and better than it is. And I can't excuse that just because once you know it's better, right? And I feel like how good it is when you know what's happening and what's coming and how to deal with it. That's kind of what makes it feel like kind of a shame more than anything. Like, just that discrepancy. Like, how much more loved and enjoyable it could be for more people if it didn't have such a barrier, you know? The main thing that this remaster does that bridges a lot of that gap is it has a New Game Plus feature that doesn't require you to have beaten the game to implement. So if you get to a point where you just can't do the thing anymore, you can still New Game Plus and have, let's see, what do you get? All of your mastered skills are still there. Everything you had on hand and everything that was equipped on every character that was ever in your party ends up in your storage. You keep all of your money. And all of the characters you used keep their weapon ranks and their MP and SP, but not HP. Like, if I was to start a new Game Plus right now with a different character, and then I went back and picked up, say, Charles, he would still have 30-some in his spear and fire and solar. So eventually you can have a file that has all of the wards mastered, all of the weapon skills for every weapon mastered. And you would just be able to use whatever you wanted. And unless you are using a new character, you would have endgame strength with it too, and endgame weapons. So the further along you go, doing these loops of New Game Plus, which is encouraged by the game because they want you to play it with all the different characters to experience the differences. And if you do all of that, each time you implement this New Game Plus stacking, it just gets easier to be prepared to have what you need to get there quickly. And the fact that the original doesn't have anything like that it really discouraged me from even considering replaying the game. That I would have had to do everything from scratch. But yeah, this playthrough was just around 20 hours, which is a third of what the first time was. 50 hours, or 60 hours. 57 technically, but... It's one of the few reasons why, for the first time I'm actually saying this, I would say that the remaster is a much more enjoyable experience than the original. It doesn't fix the biggest problems, like, you still have no clue what the Eclipse mechanic is, does, or how to do anything with it. Unless you just so happen to rub the sticks together to figure out that, you know, the magic types were actually relevant to the Eclipse itself, which they did kind of work toward bridging that gap, because instead of just calling them sun and moon magic, they called them solar and lunar, which is much more relevant sounding to an eclipse than just sun or moon. Overall, not everything with its translation is perfect by a long shot. There are a bunch of missteps and gaps here and there, but overall, it's a lot easier to understand and a lot more internally consistent than the original fan translation. Which I don't necessarily blame it for being incomplete, because it knows it's incomplete, but it's all we had, so it's all I really have to go off of. But I guess that's all I really have to say about this. I'm definitely gonna continue to replay it and do all of the other characters over time, and eventually just have a more and more thoroughly complete file. Eventually I might even do the final boss with all phases. I would need a lot to feel remotely comfortable doing that, but the point does stand. You know, for once I'm out of things to ramble on about before the credits are over. I'm usually going for a good several minutes after I'm back on the title screen. I guess the biggest thing that this version is missing that it could have had is a way to speed up text, because it will scroll one character at a time no matter what you do. And maybe a speed up for in battle, because you still have to play out every battle at base speed, even when you're long past over the idea of watching the same animations over and over. With it being a modernized iteration, those are the kinds of things that are kind of considered more standard, that probably should be implemented in a remastered version of an old game. But to be totally honest, what they gave us I'm actually pretty happy with it. My speech is already at the point where I would transition into a sign-off, but the credits continue. What the heck was that? They threw, like, I guess boomerangs, but they looked like bananas. Actually, I'm not sure what that last enemy just was. Oh, wazoo. I am almost free from you. Was the final spam of Millionaire that finally ended it.